What's up, you guys? BellaRose here. So today I will be sharing about starting over when it comes to weather conditions. I don't know that it is something that people think about very, very deeply, but my experience with a new country and the weather being 100% different from where I'm coming from was just something I don't think I was prepared for. I know that a lot of times people will say things like, oh, if you're traveling to the West, right? So whether it's Europe or America or anywhere else, Canada as well, it's like as long as you're able to withstand very chilled AC, don't worry, there's no issues with that. That is not very true. On one hand, I'm not particularly a big AC person, but the very day I came to London, the very day I landed London, it was raining and it was freezing. It was so cold. It was so cold, my goodness. In fact, the very first month when I got here, our energy bills, I think they about doubled because the heater was on literally every day. I was that cold. It was so cold. And everyone that was telling me, Bella, it's not cold. It's not cold. You have not come winter. This was not even winter. They're like, it's not cold at all. No. The weather is not cold. When winter comes, you will realize that. And then I had to be wearing a lot of the hoodies that I came with. Thankfully, I came with a lot of hoodies. I came with like really thick clothing. I didn't come with a lot of light clothing, which sort of came back and beat me in the summer months, but that's a story for another day. I was able to sort of keep warm when I went out, and I would wear a winter jacket when I'm going out. I wasn't used to that at all, so my winter jacket was very heavy, and sometimes it would just make me feel sick when I went out. And in fact, at some point when I was going out, I already prepared myself that when I'm coming back home, I would have a headache because the wind was also very cold. And when the wind sort of hit my forehead, it just made me feel a bit drowsy. So I was ready for it. So that made me not look forward to going out. It didn't make me look forward to just doing anything. It was just a weird time. But again, I think to an extent, I'm the kind of person who likes a good challenge. I also am not one to complain a lot. So it wasn't necessary for me to complain, oh, it's too cold, or, oh, geez, I can't even. It was something I just took in good stride. I mean, it's my new reality. Nobody's going to come and sit me down and teach me how to deal with some of these things. But I think a few things that helped me even in that time was understand. I think it was a mental thing as well. Coming to terms with the fact that no matter how much I love AC or not, it doesn't compare with cold. As you step out, and how sometimes it's even a lot colder when you step out than when you're not only sometimes, for the most part, it's much colder when you step out. And I think that also helped me to really appreciate the home that one can come to. The country where I'm from, I don't know that we think about it very deeply, but in this part, and I think that's why people can pray prayers like, Lord, thank you for shelter over my head, because it is so cold out there that sometimes what you are actually looking forward to is getting indoors, getting back home. Of course, in offices, there are heaters. At the bank, there's heaters. In eateries, there are heaters. On the train as well, on the tube, it is so warm on the tube. But it made me really appreciate a lot more a warm home to come back to. Back to how I mentally was able to just sort of deal with that. I think on one hand, it was, this is my new reality. I'm not going to sleep this night, wake up tomorrow and say, hello, Mr. Duruji, I'm going back to Nigeria. It's not possible. So I had to come to terms with the fact that, I'm in a new environment. I didn't know if I would ever get used to wearing a winter jacket. Now I wear my winter jacket and it's like all cool. I can choose to wear a winter jacket when it's raining and not hold an umbrella. That is that's how much I am. The English is hard. That's how much I have become used to wearing a winter jacket. It's become almost second nature for me. I'm excited to just grab my winter jacket and just go. Whereas before, it felt heavy on me. It was just not the best experience. So I think it was first that coming to terms with the fact that this is your new reality. I don't know when this is going to end, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Because it can be really cold and it can be very discouraging to even want to go out, I think it was necessary for me to look for places that I would just see. Sightseeing. Thankfully, London is a beautiful city. What they say about London being a beautiful city is true. I haven't been to any other part of the world apart from England. I've been to different places in England. Apart from London, I've been to other parts of England. And it's really a beautiful country. And so, because there were a lot of things for me to feed my eyes on, it helped me to go outside even in the cold. So I would go to the library, take a walk there, go to the park, just hang around there. Funny thing is, when I even started going to all of these places, I wasn't taking a lot of pictures. For me, it was just experiencing that. It was also for me taking in this new place that I have relocated to, and I think that helped me to manage the weather a bit better. Also, I had to get used to wearing hoodies indoors. Sometimes I would call my husband and I'd be like, the heater is on. And so sometimes if the heater in the room was on and I came to the sitting room, it would be so cold. And I'll tell him and he'll say, why not just wear a hoodie? And it was like common sense, but it didn't occur to me because obviously I was new. So it's like, I have to wear a hoodie inside the house. I had to. And so that also helped me to feel a bit warmer. Also, English people love having a cuppa. They love their tea. Thankfully, I'm also a tea person. And so it was not difficult for me to also do that. And so when I was cold or whatever, I would just make a cup of tea. Black tea, strawberry tea, mint, all of that. There's a lot of variants that we now even buy. And that definitely helped me to stay warm. However, I was going to the toilet a lot. It was something I had to talk to my husband because I didn't immediately understand this. I'm like, I'm urinating a lot more often than I am used to. And he says, it's a cold place. You're not perspiring too much. In Nigeria, you would sweat. So that meant you didn't necessarily need to go to the restroom. But here, because all the regulation is going on in your body, so you're having to use the restroom more frequently. So I had to understand that. And so it was double for me. It's like, first off, I'm not sweating too much and all of that regulation is happening inside. And that's why I am using the restroom more frequently. And I'm also drinking a lot of tea, which is obviously liquid. And I'm having to pass that out as well. What else helped me stay warm? I think that was really it. Yeah, that was really it. So thick clothing, blankets, throws in the sitting room, socks for my feet. Yes, that definitely helped. Wearing hoodies indoors. I know it sounds like common sense, but I think if you're someone who's coming from a tropical climate, you're not used to it. So it's going to be like, I'm not going out. So why do I have to wear a hoodie inside the house? Well, you have to. And so I also definitely had to now go to Primark to buy cheaper hoodies that I could just wear inside the house. Again, if you've spent some time, your body sort of starts getting used to it. And so now I can be at home and not wear a hoodie. Sometimes I'll wear a hoodie and I'll start sweating and I'll just have to wear a t-shirt or something. Also, the heater doesn't need to be on as much anymore, thankfully. And of course, it is something with also looking forward to the summer months that makes you just feel like, oh, this is just temporary. And then you also now start being that person who's like, what's the weather like today? And you're checking just so that you don't go out and then it's freezing or it gets really windy and you don't have anything to keep yourself warm in. I would also recommend that you buy a nice coat. 1 or 2 coats is fine. I may buy a trench coat soon because sometimes I find that I may need something a bit lighter that would just keep me slightly warm when it's pretty windy and a bit chilly outside, but not freezing. All right. Let me know if you had to deal with this when you recently relocated and how you were able to deal with that as well. Until next time, this is BellaRose on Starting Over. Thanks for watching and listening.